Hey, it's Mark with Sports Strength. I've got Josh Bernard here. Josh, tell us a little bit about your background and where you came from.
So, grew up in Tulsa, Oklahoma here, went to high school here and ended up going to college here as well. Played sports growing up, mainly basketball was the main one. And
Really?
Then, yeah, loved basketball,
Okay.
wanted to go play in college, wanted to go to the NBA. Never hit that growth spurt. And so around 8th grade, I knew I wanted to play college sports. I kind of knew I wanted to be a professional athlete, to be honest. I love sports. And started thinking around going, okay, I'm not growing. And I had been introduced to golf the previous summer in 8th grade, going into my 8th grade year. And I'm going, okay, this is actually kind of fun. So I ended up just kind of making the leap. And freshman year was like, this is what I'm going to do. So I just started busting it in golf. And yeah, I just fell in love with the game, wanted to go play in college, and ended up doing that. And
So you ended up getting to go play D1 college, right?
I did. So
Okay.
my first year out, my offers were all NAIA, small Division II type schools. So I went to Rogers State up in Claremore
Okay.
and actually had a pretty decent year for a freshman and knew I didn't want to stay there very long. I think originally I was thinking 2 years. After 1 year, I was like, this ain't me. Wanted to get back to, I always wanted to go to ORU pretty much. So ended up getting sent out an email, got a response back, ended up transferring the next year. So then played, Division I for the next 3 years.
That's pretty cool. So what was the deciding factor on, it's time to leave the NAIA and move to Division I? And
I knew the education wasn't amazing.
Okay.
And just your facilities at Division I are much
It's
better
step up.
than,
Yeah.
for sure. That was the main one. I knew I wanted to get to a place that had better facilities because I wanted to go on. I wanted to play at the next level.
Yeah.
I never went into this with, I'm just doing this to get school paid for.
Yeah.
I played it because I loved it.
Yeah.
And I wanted to keep going. So for me, it was, what's going to help me get to the next level?
Yeah.
And even though, ORU small Division I for sure, it wasn't your Oklahoma States or your UNLVs or Floridas or USCs, but it's good enough.
Some good exposure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So good courses, good practice facilities. You were one of our trainers. We didn't have that, so that was fun. That was the main deciding factor was facilities. Plus, I kind of always wanted to go to school there. My father went there, and I just wanted to go. Yeah.
Okay, so in golf, it's a very individualized sport. Talk to us a little bit about what type of self-talk you have to have out on the course and how that kind of looks. And
For sure. I think positive self-talk is probably one of the hardest things to develop into for golf because it's so frustrating. And most guys that are wanting to go play at your next level are your perfectionists, your type A's, very intense. So making mistakes is just frustrating. But I think the sooner you learn that golf, it's not a game of perfect. There's a great book by Dr. Bob Rotella where he wrote a book called Golf is Not a Game of Perfect. And I think if you really struggle with not getting over bad shots, you just need to read that book and then just ask yourself a question like, do you want to play at the next level?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. You're going to hit bad shots for the rest of your life. You're going to hit very poor shots, even under pressure. You will choke sometimes. It's just, everyone does it.
Yeah.
You just got to accept that and move on. I think once you accept that, you can just it's easier to stay positive, I think, at that point. It's going to happen, so just, stay positive. We'll keep moving forward. We got the next one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So with the positive self-talk, let's say you have a bad shot and, the pressure's on, you're competing in a tournament, how you carry that positive self-talk, but how do you fight back the negative thoughts that are kind of coming in and be able to move on from that and still have the positivity you need to continue? Having a bad shot and it's setting you back, how do you come back from that and continue on?
Yeah, I think that comes with experience.
Okay.
The more you do it, the easier it gets, I'd say, because, short game, your recovery game in golf, that's a skill that you practice daily. It's one of the most important ones. So I think eventually it's, having confidence in that part of your game so that when you do hit a bad shot, you can rely on your short game. So it's just kind of like, wasn't my best swing there, but we got this. This isn't that big of a deal at the end of the day. It's a game.
Yeah.
But even in the moment, you're not thinking like that. You're wanting to win, which is great. So it's just focusing and letting the last shot go, not thinking about it. And if you have confidence in your, short game or whatever, it's easier to move on because you're like, I can get this. up and down. This isn't a big deal. Like, yeah, I want to make birdie here, but whatever. Let's just get par and move on. Like, this isn't a big deal. You got this.
Yeah.
That's how I approach it. But that came over time. I mean, I'd say that takes years to really learn. So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and so as you progressed, obviously we do a lot of strength and conditioning and sports performance. How did your training transition from high school to college, and what was your mindset in high school as far as strength and conditioning is concerned? Were you participating in it, and did you think it was necessary?
No, I think golf is one of the few sports that is years behind in sports science. Mainly, I was told to stay away from it. So I did. It was a great excuse. I did not want to go lift weights. I think I weighed 125 pounds when I graduated high school. Didn't care at all. Looking back, it's definitely something that would probably be the main thing I did differently. One, I think lifting weights in general helps you in life.
Yeah.
It just builds mental toughness, I think, which is good for any sport. I did nothing. My freshman year of college to sophomore year, they had that cheap lifetime memberships for college kids. We did yoga 3 times a week, which sure was good.
Yeah.
Didn't do much. I didn't see any difference. We started training at ORU.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely saw a little bit, but I was too afraid that, I'll get big, bulky, I'll lose flexibility, I'll lose mobility, which for me that was just stupid. It was just, I think it's great. Well, once I really started after college lifting weights, one, getting more stable, generating more power, makes the game easier, feel better, builds, like I said earlier, builds mental toughness.
Yeah.
I go to say, Bryson DeChambeau is hitting the weight room hard. Everyone said he was going to ruin his game. So during COVID, put on like 40 pounds.
Okay.
Some muscle, some fat. Everyone said he was going to ruin his game. The guy looks ridiculous. He's just huge. Ends up winning the U.S. Open last year. He's on to something. I think he's one of the few guys that recognized golf is behind, and in regards to sports science. And he's kind of, he's killing it with this new way of playing. So I'm not going to go that hard and just completely change my body, but definitely I've taken sports strength training much more serious for sure.
Good.
Yeah.
That's great. And so in college, did you feel like there was a lot of that flexibility training still through the whole program, or did you guys mainly focus on gaining size or gaining strength, or was it a hybrid of all three?
Yeah, probably a hybrid. Okay. Not much gaining size.
Okay.
It was mainly speed and mobility, because you're pretty much trying to prevent yourself from getting injured.
Yeah.
You're destroying your back playing golf. Most people are anyway. There may be a few guys whose swings don't, but for the most part, you're putting wear and tear on your body. So it's just, a lot of mobility training, injury preventative training, I guess. I don't know what you would call that, but that's how I always took it, was just mobility, stability, not much size at all. No hypertrophy lifting by any means.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And that really does make sense as far as what you need to compete in golf. And so now you have, you've gotten out of college, you've had the D1 experience, and we're working on getting to the next level of golf. And how has your mentality changed, and how have you kind of been able to keep that mindset for continuing on even after college? When you are working so hard to compete at the professional level, how do you keep that tenacity as the years progress and move on?
Well, I think you got to keep your vision in front of you.
Yeah.
Is the big one. But I think the big pill to swallow, and I wasn't a hotshot college athlete at all. I actually had a very underwhelming college career as far as performance, but I think when you go high school to college, it's your big fish in a small pond mentality. Mm-hmm. You get to college and you're like, whoa, everyone's pretty good. It's a big deal to be all-state in high school. You go to college, you realize all these guys were they were like you. They were all the all-state guys. Some of these guys were coming from big cities where all-state was a really big deal. And then I think it's even a bigger transition to professional world, because you are a really small fish in a huge pond.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of sharks out there.
Yeah.
And these guys have been good for a long time. And yeah, some of these guys peak when they're 21, 22. So they're superstars in college. And then they can't swallow the pill that how am I not still the best player around?
Yeah.
So I think you kind of have to just forget that, keep growing,
Yep.
stay focused on yourself as far as your game. Don't compare yourself to others. I mean, I think it's good to look up to people and go, oh, okay, I should try that, or I should practice the way this guy does, or work out a certain way this guy does. But at the end of the day, your game is probably different than his. His strengths are probably different than yours. So his weaknesses are probably different than yours. So it's really helping your, like, how you practice is growing your game, not someone else's.
Yep.
Not trying to mimic that. Yeah, I think that's the big one with transitioning to professional golf. If you really want, or in any sport, like to get to the highest level, you got to just keep your vision in front of you because you're going to go through slumps.
Yep.
And I think that's something I was naive of. I just kind of thought this was, I'll put the work in and
Yeah.
I'll work hard and this will be no big
Yep.
deal. And it's, you get smacked in the face a few times, you do start to lose some confidence. And that's just a part of it.
Yeah.
Everyone goes through peaks and valleys. And so, honestly, with golf, we kind of joke, like, it's really the people that just last the longest are some of the guys that get there, because it's amazing how many guys who were superstars in college, 1 or 2 years later, they hang it up, they didn't want it anymore, and you're going, my gosh, you were the real deal in college. And then I think it really sinks in when you look at who's playing at a really high level and you go, man, I used to know that guy and he was just mediocre, but he just kept working and kept grinding, and he ended up making it. And there's guys in college that don't even try, and you're going, man, these guys used to blow this guy up all the time. I mean, it wasn't even a contest, and well, now he's on the big tour, and the other guys are working, normal jobs. So,
So, for kids that are wanting to go play professional golf, what's kind of provide them some insight on, what it looks like as far as making it to that level. I mean, you have to have a regular job to be able to support yourself, to be able to go and play golf. I mean, what does that look like for you? How do you balance the two? How do you, you talk about keeping that dream at the forefront of your mind. How do you not let the income from the day job just be like, this is what's actually producing, the golf is not. How do you keep that transition from happening, just throwing it all in and saying, forget it, I'm going to focus on what's producing income immediately?
Yeah, I think that's a big part of it. If you can have someone help you, I think that's huge. I think that is one of the biggest factors of who makes it and who doesn't, is you had help, which some people get help, sponsors. I mean, if you're really good in college, you might have that. But a lot of times it's kind of surprising how many really good guys even, they get free equipment, free clothing. That's it. I mean, they still need $30,000 a year to enter in and travel and all this. So if you can get help, that's the biggest hurdle in my opinion. But for us who don't, it kind of sucks, to be honest. You are working. Most of you are working at a golf course, caddying, because it's just quick cash. You can go out there. If it's not at a super exclusive club, usually you get practice privileges there. So then you knock out your monthly cost for that, all your practice facilities. Then you are getting some quick cash too. So you can go play in events, whenever. Yeah, it's tough. And I mean, I've actually, I've had to go through times where I take 6 months off, take 8 months off. Unfortunately, it almost took 2 years off. We're hoping to get back to it again soon, because it does actually, the older you get and you finally do have to take 6-8 months off, it's like, man, it is nice not being broke anymore.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if it's your dream,
I
mean, you can't, I mean, you'll just live in regret if you don't keep pursuing it. You got to really know, like, I'm done doing this, and I gave it a good run, I tried. But if you can't say that, it'll just kill you. I mean, it'll eat you up too, and you're going, man, I got to get back out there and do this. So, I mean, if you're really passionate, go for it, man. Yeah, I mean, it's your dream, go for it. I mean, no one ever wishes they didn't try. It's everyone you talk to, they always, oh man, I wish I would have done that, or you always think, what if? I don't want to be 50 years old going, oh, what if? I want to be 50 years old going, hey, I did it, or hey, I tried, but I have zero regret.
Yep.
So
Yep.
that's my mindset on how I keep pursuing it, or how I keep the vision in front of me and the goal in front of me is I don't want to live in regret.
Yep.
Just passionately pursue it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's great. So really the last question I have for you is if you could tell your younger self one thing, what would that be?
Oh, enjoy it.
Okay.
I took college way too serious. I even took high school not academically. I only cared about golf. I didn't care about anything else. And I don't mean that like go out and party. It was more of for golf, enjoy it.
Yeah.
That's what I would tell myself. One, it's going to take you longer than you think, more than likely. The percentages will tell you you're not going to be that guy at 22 to just, I got on tour right away. I won right away. It's kind of just overnight. I'm here. Yeah, that does happen occasionally where that one guy does that. But, more than likely, you're going to be that guy. It's going to take you longer than you thought. I used to just take it so serious going, oh man, I'm running out of time. Now at 28, I'd love to tell that 24-year-old, dude, just enjoy this. It sucks going back to work. You have it so good right now. You've saved up all that money for 6 months of working. Now you're going to go play for 6 months. Enjoy it. It's so fun. Because right now, that's what I think of as, man, going back to Florida or traveling in the summers with buddies. Oh, yeah, I hope to get back to it because it's definitely a different perspective when you're older. But I would just tell myself, enjoy the journey.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It is truly, it's fun. You're waking up every day, hitting the weights, going to the course, practicing all day, preparing for something. Going to an 8 to 5 is just, I'm here for a paycheck.
Yep.
It's not that fulfilling. Unless your passion changes and you do want to start a business or something, sure, I'm sure it is more fulfilling. But when you're thinking about your dream of playing, professional sports, it's killer in the office because you just want to be out there.
Yeah.
And then you start thinking, man, I wish I would have enjoyed it more. So that's really, as cheesy as that is, just enjoy the journey, enjoy the process of getting better. It's fun. And I don't think you realize how much fun it is until you've stopped. And after, 6 months, a year, you're going, man, I wish I would have had more fun doing that because I didn't realize how much fun I was having. I was constantly taking it way too serious when it's like, man, just enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. What a blessing you get to pursue it, you know.
Yep.
So yeah,
that's to pursue your passion.
Yeah, it's the dream.
Yeah.
Right there.
All right. Well, Josh, thank you so much for being on. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah, of course.
We'll look forward to seeing what you accomplish.
I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you.